All right, good morning and welcome back to channel Princess It. We thank the Lord for another day. We're just on the weekend, and today is a wonderful Saturday morning, the 28th of June 2025. God has been so good to us. God is faithful in everything, in everything. Whatever it is that we are passing through, I so much believe that God is faithful through everything. And I want to address a couple of things this morning, spanning from the availability of this fund, uh, the right person in charge, and how close we are to this disbursement, and finally, the the grant we're expecting, actually the UAS fund. How does it emanate? What actually culminated into all of us trying to be in this expectation, because a lot of us might not even know the genesis of why we are here. We just noticed that somebody's flaunting a grant, and we also keyed into the process to ensure that our family is liberated and we get a better life. But what made certain people to doubt the process is because they never cared to know the genesis of why this fund was released. What was it for? Who are those behind it? When the purpose of a thing is not known, definitely abuse is inevitable. And that is why we are where we are today. So it's of essence that we dive in deep into this commitment and also get ourselves aligned in this fashion. And as such, we would not be derailed by every wind of whatever thing flies around. So this is Princess It channel. In case you're new, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell so you don't miss out on vital updates. When we release one for you, you get one. Don't touch the dial. I'll be with you shortly and in a moment. All right, welcome back again. We are just on board, and we believe that we are at the brink of mercy, at the brink of performance, and at the brink of solution. But then we also need to be clear on our financial blessing, which I believe is not a myth. It is not a dream either. I believe that all of these processes are divine reality that is waiting to unfold for every one of us. And we must understand the three vital issues of us being in the waiting season. The money is available and it is fully intact. Now, if the resources were not so much available, this conversation that we have back in and back off and all that wouldn't just be happening. But according to our reliable information sources, multiple sources and insiders, we trust that the funds are very much intact. They are intact, they are secured, and they are waiting for the final divine and human alignment for disbursement to take place. A lot of things are in place right now, which should make you to feel joyous that, hey, we were not where we used to be. We have moved on from there. And this is not rumor. This is our realities, that we are striking the corners of every divine agenda that is defined for every one of us to get financial release. So the money is available and the money is intact. And we just have to pass through these processes to ensure that there is transparency and accountability in all of these processes. All right, and having said that, we have also at one time or point in time, some have actually wondered whether the funds is actually in the right hand or it has fallen into the wrong hands. But I can boldly declare to you that the resources that God has prepared for us are under the leadership and the custody of the right person, Apostle Professor Ken, the country director of the UAAG. He has the mandate, is the mandate holder. And remember, just as God also raised up Moses to lead the Israelites out of captivity into the promised land, And God has positioned the country director. Yes, we have a lot of lacunas in the system, but definitely we see that the right person is in charge here when it comes in this context. He is the one that God has destined to pioneer or to pilot the affairs of this grant for the blessing of his people, which you and I are one of them. So we must not also stop lifting him up in prayers. His assignment is quite so heavy and the battle is intense, but with our collective prayers and God's intervention, nothing, I believe, can stop this divine agenda from manifesting. Now, the disbursement on the third tier purpose of this V-note, the disbursement is closer than we could think, even in the midst of delays. I know that a lot of us are tired. Yes, we are frustrated, and we are wondering why this long-waiting promise will finally materialize. When is it going to be? But definitely it's going to happen. The waiting is working in our favor, and the breakthrough is also already here, closer than many of us may actually think. The signs are there. The movements of the delegates just in time, the secret meetings, the confirmations from top insiders, the spiritual signs that are pointing to the fact that the time is also ripe. Yes, we have experienced disappointments. We have experienced shifting of dates and moments when it seemed like hope was fading so thin and fast. But every significant promise in history that we face that appears to be delays for us, they were eventually a blessing in disguise. So the word I bring you today is simple yet so profound. You should stay so much encouraged, stay expectant, stay prayerful, because we are at the edge of manifestation, and very, very soon the testimony is going to be loud, because God has never been late and he operates in his own perfect timing. Now, I want us to get into the very fact of everything you need to know about this grant. And I'm going to be revealing some truth that are so sacrosanct for us to understand. Now, the UAAG grant is just a working name for the records, and for many of us to know and understand this. Many of us have had the popular term UAAG grant, but we need enlightenment that is just a working name that is given for some easier identification among the masses. The real identity behind this life-changing opportunity runs much so deeper than you think. Now, officially, what you are patiently waiting for is called the UAS grant, or you can also call it the NAW grant, which is called the New African World Bank. The New African World Bank grant. Both the names, the UAS grant, United African State grant, and the New African World Bank grant are referred to the same powerful initiative that is designed to actually transform lives across Africa and beyond. Now, who is behind this historic grant? The grant itself comes under the authority of the Federated United African State, which is the UAS government. And this is operating through their financial institution, the New African World Bank grant. The New African World Bank grant is, let me put it this way, is just the capacity engine or the financial engine that is established by the UAS itself to empower and uplift and also develop the African nations and all the Africans who are in diaspora. Now, there is also the visionary behind this particular move, and that is the Federated United African States government, which was actually founded by Professor Brimi Abraham, a true African patriot who is visionary and is an advocate for a united, sovereign, and self-sustained Africa. Now, the birth of the UAS, which was supposed to be and is also the dream for African unity, was born from the vision of courageous African leaders who actually realized that only through unity, collaboration, and collective strength can Africa rise again above external controls and exploitation from the colonial era that have bedeviled Africa as a continent. Now, these leaders, they came together to form a coalition and a common African government to fight for liberation and sovereignty of all the African nations. Their also interest is to protect African interests at home and in diaspora abroad. Now, why was it actually formed? Why was this coalition and cooperation formed? Now, for decades, Africa has suffered. Oh my God. Africa has suffered at different sections, organs, sectors. There was for the records, there was the colonial control, there was the foreign manipulations, and there was the lack of unity. These were so much strong demons that bedeviled Africa as a continent. Then UAS, United African State, was established to change that narrative, because only unity can actually foster true freedom. Yes. Now, if we go back to the memory lane, if we consider there were some painful realities that happened in the past, the France armed invasion of Mali, the African Union was silent. They didn't do anything about it. When the France bombed Abidjan, that's the Ivory Coast, killing hundreds and destroying the African Development Bank headquarters, there was no action that was taken in that effect. When the tragic assassination of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi in Libya happened, the African also almost was silent about it. When there was the mysterious poisoning of Ghana's president and Ethiopia's prime minister, all due to their push for African integrity and unity, it appears like silence was just the order of the day. But then the UAS felt an urgent need to say enough is enough. And then they birthed this vision and mission to unite the Africa as a continent. Now, all of these things started in 1962. The foundation of UAS actually was embellished or entrenched in 1962, which was a historic moment when leaders came together to plant the seeds of unity for both current and future generations of Africans, and both on the continent and in the diaspora. Now, the new African World Bank grant, which is the purpose of the grant, it was the official financial institution of the United African States, which was created to eradicate poverty across Africa and among Africans worldwide, globally. It is also created to empower citizens both at home and abroad, and also to develop African nations, to build infrastructures for them and restore economic independence and stabilization. So the UAS, which is the United African States, and the NAW Bank grant, is not just money. It's a vision that is driven financially for liberation, and also designed to uplift individuals, you and I, our families, communities, and the entire nation to break free from the shackles of poverty. Now, the grant that you are awaiting is historic. What we await is not just ordinary. It's a manifestation of decades of struggles for African unity and economic freedom. So it's a promise of empowerment, which is backed from the vision of true African leadership, and it is designed to impact generations to come, which we have come to enter into this process today. And it appears like we are just into this for the fun of it or just expecting. Some people give their life for this vision. So it's not just an ordinary event. These are decades of struggles, decades of strength, energy, vitalities that was plunged into the system to ensure that a people like us is finally validated and we are separated from the shackles of poverty. So the future of Africa is definitely in motion. And you are part of the transformation. And that's what you need to understand, that you are part of this transformation. You're expecting a fund from the United African States and from the North. So we should understand way beyond what our inconveniences are right now. If you know the genesis, if you know where this thing is coming from, it's not just one person's affair. It's not just one man money that is meant to be shared by all. No, there was a vision behind this. That is to eradicate poverty. That vision is to kill poverty within the African state. Now, let's not forget about the fact that yes, there are unscrupulous elements that despite a lot of people, a couple of personalities fought for this, there are unscrupulous elements who just wanted this money for themselves, not minding that a group of individuals came up to fight for the liberation, but one person want to eat up the liberation. Yes, we know that there are devils in such capacity, but you see, and that is why when we talk about prayers, most times it looks like we are driving backwards. Prayer moves the hand that moves the world, and that is why we shouldn't fail to always get in the league of prayers. Especially even if God has released something for you, you still need a measure of prayer to claim it. We believe that God wanted through this medium for Africa as a global nation to be free from financial incapacitation and shackles of poverty. But as much as He put certain people there to be the seers and the orchestrators, all of these coordinators, we need prayer to hold them accountable and to hold them to do what they might not want to do according to human nature. So, on a final note, stay very hopeful. Let us stay united and informed, because the future before us is very bright. The fund is there. The process is the one in the wheels, and the reality is going to manifest in a short while. I so believe, and I'm confident. So there's no point abusing, yapping, or calling people names. We believe that God will do the best for us in time, and the ears of those who hear it will tingle. This is Princess Channel. I rest my case. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for regular content of updates. And God bless you. Have a nice day.